it's the weekend. Hopefully, everyone that watches this has a 3-day weekend coming up. Not too sure if I'm going to be making a video tomorrow. If I'm not making a video tomorrow or choose not to, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Memorial Weekend. Remember the sacrifices that our soldiers, our military made in the past. I think that's what Memorial Day is all about. But yeah, but I'm going to do a different type of video, still kind of news and politics related. This person's name is Johnny B. He has about 133K subscribers. Maybe one day I will be there. I watched this video yesterday. It's about 7 minutes. So hopefully it smooths or goes smoothly. But this is why he is angry about the incident that happened earlier this week. And there's some few key points. So let's go ahead and watch the video. I forgot.
All right, I don't know how to open this. I don't know how to end it because this is it's a terrible conversation, but it's a conversation we're going to have. I'm mad. I've been mad all day about.
Yes, it's a very difficult discussion to have because we're talking about the loss of life of children that should never have been lost. And it's difficult because there's emotions going both ways. So it's acceptable to be upset. But let's go ahead and continue.
It, but I also had a great day on some other levels, and it's kind of this duality. I have a sponsor for this video, and I'm proud of that. I'm glad that the business of life keeps on going. I had a great day in some ways. I had a great lunch, but the other part of me is like, I'm mad. So we're going to talk about it. It's a really weird thing. I don't know how to begin it. I don't know how to end this video. I've got some notes here, and I'm just going to have a conversation with you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're going to have a conversation about this. I do want to hear what you have to say. This is a tough day, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, not the whole picture, but I'm going to share with you my thoughts. Would love to hear yours as well. Thank you for being here. Buckle up, here we go. This conversation is brought to you by Aventon Bikes, the makers of the e-bike that is meticulous.
Yeah. I'm just finding where he ends it. I think it's right there.
28 miles an hour. I do mean that. I don't know how to craft this into a neat and tidy video, so I just wrote some bullet points. First, it's awful.
Yes, it is awful.
Absolutely awful. I hope that goes without saying. And I shouldn't even have to say as a father, it's awful. I think as a human, it's awful.
True.
This is a human piece of garbage.
Should have showed the video.
I'm not showing his garbage face, and I'm glad he's no longer on this planet.
I wish he wouldn't have showed the picture. And I don't even know if that's a real picture of the monster. There's some speculations, there's some rumors one way or the other, some rumors saying it's true, some rumors that are not. And I think that's where a lot of people lose the arguments when they try to bring up stuff that may be verified or not verifiable. I'll get into that later on. But I don't think you should have just showed the picture. I think you should have just left it out. But I agree, we should not be labeling these people by their birth name, which just call them monsters as they are, or demons or whatever.
Not happy about that. Joe Biden came out yesterday and began to speak about it, and he invoked the name of God and read scripture. All comedy aside, this sounds like a comedy joke, and I don't mean it that way. Will Smith said, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." And I thought that when he started talking about scripture, my thought was, you freaking pedophile, keep the Lord's name out of your pedophile mouth. And I don't mean that to be snarky. I don't mean that to be ha-ha funny, because it's kind of funny. No, I mean that for real. I don't want to hear anything he has to say. He started.
I agree that I don't want to hear anything that Biden has to say. I know it's probably be nitpicking, but I don't think this is the time or place for that comment. But it's his video. Don't get me wrong, it's his video. This is just me nitpicking. It's his channel. He could do whatever he wants, just like I could do whatever I want with my video. I kind of wish that he kind of kept it out, kept that part out. But it's just my personal opinion.
Pushing for more control. Of course he did right before the midterm elections. And it's not even him. Let's be fair. He's reading what the regime and the
Mm,
DNC has put on the screen.
valid
It's a
point.
mess.
Valid opinion, I should
And I'm
say.
not happy about that either. And here's the big part that just pisses me off. I'm sorry for the language. Everybody that's running their freaking criminal yappers in DC today, every one of them has 24 hours a day armed security, and they're not willing to protect our children with the same security that they have. They're willing to protect their money. They're willing to protect Wall Street. They're willing to protect their business interests, their own personal bodies, as well as their homes and their vacation homes with armed security, but they won't extend that to our nation's best, our children. And that makes me upset. Yes,
That makes me upset too. They have 24-hour security. Even President Trump has 24-hour security. Even Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton has 24-hour security. But yet, we can't have that same level of security for our schools, our public schools that, depending on who you want to believe, are underfunded. But yet, we could send $40 billion to Ukraine when we could be spending that money on our school infrastructure to harden the targets to make sure events like this are heavily reduced. But nope, nope. It's all about we must ban this gun, ban that gun. You're a monster. NRA must be held accountable. GOP has blood on their hands. NRA has blood on their hands. Governor Abbott has blood on his hands. It's all about that instead of beefing the security up at our schools when they have top of the line security guards. They have the Secret Service protecting them 24/7. But yet, we can't have that same security for our schools. It's maddening.
I would get more clicks if I'm being dramatic for dramatic point. I promise you, this is really like probably the most honest video I've ever made.
So all the
And
other videos are lies? Sorry, I just had
just
to.
extend the same courtesy to our children that y'all extend, that Congress extends to themselves.
On
I
point.
don't want to hear what they have to say. Now, some of the Texas senators have been pushing back, and they've already said a big middle finger to Joe and his freaking gun control. Why does it got to be about that? Now, again, this isn't comedy, but Opie posted this today. I think it's really well.
The government can't protect its own school. It can't protect me. I'm behind a gun learning how to use it. Gun ban. Bad gun ban gun. I just wanted to see that screenshot.
Well said. Like it's a little visual that kind of puts into words. Oh no, gun bad, ban gun. I wish we could just harden the targets of our schools and maybe they wouldn't be a target. Walk into Wall Street. Go down to Wall Street to the NASDAQ and walk in there.
Don't
See
want
what
to.
happens to you there.
Don't want to.
They don't put up with it.
They
Somehow we
don't.
have to and we're expected to. Murder's already illegal. I
True.
mean, that's it. That's the entire conversation. Murder's already illegal.
Yes, it
Writing
is.
little words on a page at the state capitol or at cities or at the county level or the city level or the state level or the fed level, just writing words on a page doesn't change anything. Bad people who are intent on badness will do bad things. Well, it's a mental health issue. No, it's a piece of human garbage that did something terrible and he paid the price for it.
I just want to add it really is a mental health issue. Him saying that doesn't want to entertain us does a disservice. There's a fine line between talking about mental health issues and then removing someone's rights, punishing them for having a mental health issue. Clearly, this person was deranged. He was a monster that became deranged and did a horrific, terrible thing. But we also need to have a discussion about mental health. We have to talk about whether or not this kid was bullied, about his home life, whether or not his parents were able to raise him properly. And if they weren't able to raise him properly, how can we as a community help the parents raise their kids with a moral backbone, whether it's through religion or another faith, or just being a decent human being. And when we see parents failing, help them, ask them what they need, ask them what we could do. So, yes, we need to talk about mental health to improve the mental health, to prevent a monster being made, whether or not they were being bullied, whether or not they need help with school, whether or not X, Y, Z, so we could prevent this from happening by addressing the mental health. By him just kind of dismissing that, I don't know if his emotions were high, but we do have to talk about mental health because a normal 18-year-old doesn't go to a gun store, pick up two guns, over 300 rounds, shoots his grandmother, and goes to school and shoots up a classroom. That's not a normal 18-year-old behavior. There's something definitely going wrong in his upbringing. Something's definitely going wrong with his head. Something to do with his mental health. We need to talk about so we could address it. But like I said, there is a fine line between talking about mental health and taking away people's rights because they have a mental health issue. It's a fine line and it's something that we need to discuss. And I don't have the answers.
I wish Joe had talked about the families rather than talking about law abiding citizens and what he's going to take from them. So I think it's a pile of crap. I think the whole thing is a pile of crap.
I
And
agree.
for the third time, I wish that everybody that has 24-hour a day armed security paid for by the populace
Mm-hmm.
would shut their yappers.
Totally agree.
Like I said, I don't know. Like I don't really know how to jump into this. I don't know how to keep going. There's a book from 1991 called The Pale Horse Rider, and I'll put the quote in.
Let's go ahead and read this quote. I wish you didn't put this quote in. I wish when we talk about these topics, we try to keep them factual. Don't try to go into speculation because I think it just hurts our argument. Whether you're for gun control or against gun control, falling into non-provable things kind of hurts the argument. I mean, I'm definitely for the Second Amendment. I'm definitely against gun control, but I think we should just keep it simple, keep it on point, keep it to the facts that we know. So what he has highlighted is the government encouraged the manufacture and the importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. This is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity, which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in the process called the Orion. The CIA inoculated the desire in people to open fire on schoolyards, thus inflamed the anti gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. I don't know where you're at on the conspiracy side. I don't know if you believe in conspiracies or entertain conspiracies, believe conspiracies. But until there's actual documentation, actual evidence, and an actual lawsuit against the government that are encouraging this or fostering this or promoting this, I think we need to keep that out of the discussion because it's unverifiable. Now I get it. This is his video. This is his channel. He can say whatever he wants. This is not me saying that he cannot do this. I just kind of wish that he didn't do this.
Here right now. I won't have it up here just a second. You can pause it and read it, but it's about the voluntary disarmament of the populace where we cry ourselves. This book's fiction, but it's scary fiction that we cry for the government to disarm us. And that's what is already happening today. Now, a lot of folks have asked me, "Hey, Johnny, it's fishy. The whole thing's fishy. How does some cross-dressing teenager who lives in his grandmother, literally in his grandma's house, afford a $5,000 loadout? I don't know. I don't know yet.
Valid
I think we'll
questions.
never know.
Valid questions, but I
I
don't
think
think it
it's
should be brought up.
fishy, but I don't want to go so far down that road. But we talked about this. We talked about this. And I want to end with a point. Somebody on the news today, they always say it. They always say this. How many children have to die? Well, they always say that. How many kids have to die before we give up our guns? And to that, y'all know what I'm going to say. All of them.
Kind of cold hearted. I don't agree with the 100% stance. I do think there's going to be one too many school shootings. There's going to be one too many kids killed. And the Second Amendment, as we know, will die. We're going to be more of like a European nation when it comes to gun controls. The question is that going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now? There's going to come a moment to where we will ask the government to take away the Second Amendment because there's going to be one too many school shootings. There's going to be one too many child being killed. And I don't know. I don't have the answers here. But to say all of them is pretty cold hearted because I don't think America's answer is all of them. I just don't have the answers. And like I said, overall, it was a pretty good video in my mind. There's some key points I wish he wouldn't have discussed and just kept it to the facts that were verifiable. And I kind of wish he didn't show the picture of the person, even though he did a big square around his face. I just don't think that should be given attention to it. With that being said, Johnny B, if you watch this, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe we could set something up. Maybe not. Who knows? I still have a respect for you. I may not watch all your videos. I'll watch them as they come up on my feed. This isn't a direct attack on you. If you take it personally, I'm sorry. But like I said, that's all I have. If I do a video tomorrow, I have something in mind with Beto Heroic. Just as a little teaser. If not, I'll probably do that Monday. Who knows? If you don't hear from me, have yourself a wonderful weekend. If I do make a video tomorrow, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, and evening. Leave a comment down below. Smash the like and subscribe button in all and any platforms. But most importantly, let's start raising kids to have respect for each other. I think that will go a long way.